Today in Britain, the railway system and infrastructure is somewhat of a joke. The train drivers strike more than a bloke trying to impress on a first date whilst out bowling. It's unnecessarily expensive to get a train, and some people have even, to prove a point, crossed half of the world in an aircraft to show just how expensive it is to get a train from one part of Britain to another. But one railway that I wouldn't detest paying the fee to ride is the Snowdon Mountain Railway that goes up that mountain right over there. And foolishly, today I've chosen a day to film this, where basically near to Snowdon, the largest mountain in Wales, where the train isn't running. Do your research, Dave. Now, when I was a young boy, I went on the train up the mountain, and there's a guide who points things out on your journey. I'll never forget what he said about the summit of Snowdon. He said, from the top of here, on a sunny day and a clear day, you can see 4 kingdoms. The Kingdom of Wales, the Kingdom of England, the Kingdom of Ireland, and the Kingdom of Heaven. The Snowdon Mountain Railway runs from Llanberis to the summit of Snowdon, and the journey is 4.7 miles long. The return journey includes a stop at the top, and it takes 2.5 hours in total, as opposed to a full day's walking up and down. But it is a remarkable feat of engineering, and also endeavour, to keep that train running. It's the only rack and pinion railway in use in Britain, a steep grade railway that has a tooth rack rail between the running rails. This allows the train to work on the steep gradient, and it could even pull up at 45 degrees gradient or more. Most mountain railways in the world are rack railways, as they are known, and it's been in operation for over 100 years, being opened first on the 6th of April 1896. The idea of a railway to the top of Mount Snowdon was proposed decades before this, but a local landowner wasn't happy with it, and he thought a train would ruin the scenery. But then permission was given, and it cost roughly, in today's money, about £10 million to build. The progress of the track laying was rather quick, as trains would move materials as they went, and despite the rough climate, the first train reached the summit of Snowdon in January 1896. Fences and signals were then added later. However, on the opening day, things did not go very well at all. On Monday the 6th of April 1896, after much celebration, the 2 trains were sent off up towards the summit. Things went well on the way up, but on the way back down the mountain, due to the weight of the train, one of the trains with 2 carriages attached lost control, and the train derailed and fell down the mountain. Tragically, a passenger was killed after he jumped out of the carriage in panic and then bled out. The second train then hit the carriages of the first. It was not successful, but months later the railway reopened with tweaks which were made. This time there were no incidents until July 1906, when a wagon broke loose, injuring a passenger. Over time, thousands of people used the railway to get to the summit of Snowdon, but the train became more than just a tourist hotspot. Now, this is a rumour, but during World War II, it was claimed that this was one of the only things in the local area that remained running. 2 trains per day operated from Llanberis, and people could stay at the Summit Hotel, but this may have just been propaganda, but it's also been claimed that the summit was actually closed to trained soldiers. Normal service resumed after the war, but the train kept being used for more than just passengers. When the new summit building was constructed, it was the plucky little train that transported materials to the top and kept the building work going. But remarkably, the train also became a rescue vehicle. Every year on Mount Snowdon, there are hundreds of calls made to Llanberis Mountain Rescue, and the emergency services in the region are very busy with people in distress and trouble. But the railway has in the past even helped with rescuing people off the mountain. In 2015, the Coast Guard rescue helicopter could not get to the summit due to the conditions, and the railway was used to carry mountain rescue to the very top to rescue a 17-year-old girl who was having a very severe asthma attack, and she had collapsed at the top while sheltering from wind gusts of 70 miles an hour. Not ideal. The railway roared up the side of the mountain and then rescued the patient, and it brought her back to safety, and at the bottom of Snowdon, an ambulance was waiting. Now, people might think that the train on Snowdon is just a tourist trap, which is only after money from people, but it's a marvel and incredible feat of engineering. It was built when Queen Victoria was on the throne and still is used today. In fact, one of the trains that's still used arrived in December 1895 and passengers still sit on it. that being known as Woodfar, the Welsh name for Snowdon, the correct term for the mountain today. Today, the main railway network may be terrible across Britain, but there are many incredible heritage railways that can be visited. For some people, the railway that travels up that mountain there has saved lives. But yeah, what a remarkable feat of engineering. How do you get a train up there? Madness. I don't think they'll be able to do it again. But yeah, Mount Snowdon.